You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
U.S. Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why U.S. Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us, 865-658-5824. Join alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Emilio in Tennessee. Down here in the Volunteer State, we got Tim. Tim's glowing today, boys. Look at that tan. Look at that tan. Tim's got to practice today.
That's called sunburn, not a tan. That is sunburn.
Heck yeah. So obviously we have boots on the ground today at practice. Excited to hear what Tim took away from that. I know Jacob's got a really cool article that came in from Justice Mosqueda. I think I'm saying that right. Doing a way too early 53-man roster projection. I know Jacob's been talking about this article for a couple of days, so I'm excited about diving into that. We'll try to get on some practice notes as well and get into all of that good stuff. So, gentlemen, everybody doing all right tonight?
Yeesh.
Yes.
A little thunder rolling in case I lose power.
Jacob went. Yes. All right, let's do it. First of all, let's dive right into it because we're going to be limited on time here. Obviously, we got a bunch to get to. What's up, Bates? Good to see you, buddy.
Bates.
First things first from practice. Wanted to hit on this. Thought it was really cool, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this video up. We got a whole video just kind of carry out when I was watching it. We're just going to let it loop here. First of all, we'll start it right here with a little Caleb Williams interception, boys. Listen to this sound bite. I can listen to that all day. But anyway, that's mixed up in there a bit with the video that we are going to show here. We'll go ahead and get that thing a loop in here. So I know, Tim, you're going to notice Tim's shots here on this practice video as well. He had, I don't know what kind of camera he had, man, but that thing was crispy clean, looking pretty. But obviously, 7th camp practice. The big news of the day for me, man, was you had our boy Marshawn Lloyd finally getting to practice with the team. Now, it's my understanding he didn't do 11 on 11s, but he did get out there for the first day in pads and kind of run around. So let's start with this. Andy Herman tweeted out Packers practice update. So they signed 3 players today. It was Peter Bowden is back on the rooster again, as was once said in Major League 2 by, I think it was Root Baker. Peter Bowden is a long snapper, obviously. I think he's out of Wisconsin, right, guys? Am I thinking right? That's Lascani?
I believe so, yeah.
I remember right. So you got Don Callis and then L.J. Davis were all 3 signed. Release was Zion Gilbert, James Turner, obviously the 3rd kicker on the roster. So it seems like they've trimmed that down now. No big surprise, but it's Greg Joseph and Anders Carlson now battling out for that kicker spot. James Turner was, like I said, released. And then Henry Pearson was another big surprise. You know, Henry Pearson, the H-back, the fullback, they went ahead and cut him loose. Many people were surprised by that, but knowing that LaFleur was, LaFleur's really leaning into the Sean McVay version of the Kyle Shanahan system. It's mostly 12. That's the reality. Now Shanahan, obviously, he's got Juszczyk. I really believe if he didn't have Juszczyk, he'd probably play more 12 than 21 personally. That's just me. But anyway, Henry Pearson, as of right now, is not on the roster. He may be signed later, like we've seen Peter Bowden get cut loose and signed. No new injuries to the best of our knowledge. Returning from injury, Zane Anderson, Robert Rochelle, Katan Oladapo, also known as Ola Home Depot, and then Marshawn Lloyd back on the practice field. Still out with an injury, Keyshawn Banks, Deslin Alexander, and then, of course, Tucker Kraft, who I think next week we might start getting some updates on Tucker Kraft. That would be absolutely awesome. So, anything you guys want to hit on there? Anything catch you by surprise for as the signings, the cuts, all that good stuff?
It was great to see Oladapo back out there today. I'll tell you that. That was awesome. And yeah, Tucker Kraft a little behind schedule on the rehab, which that's okay. At least it's still early, and give him the time he needs to get back. That's a serious injury that he had there. Torn pec is no joke. So hopefully Tuck Norris is back soon. But yeah, I was a little shocked to see Henry Pearson let go. But like you said, Clayton, he could be back here before we know it. So
yeah, definitely. Jacob Emilio, anything there?
I'm a little bit surprised, I guess, that I shouldn't say surprised that we cut Henry Pearson. I did think that I could have seen him possibly in that H-back role, but as we all know, they clearly love Tyler Davis, and our boy Sims has been making a push. And even though Tucker Kraft isn't going to be back, you'll see in the exercise / article that we cover coming up here that it's a absolute loaded to the gills years to try to cut down to that 53. I will say it is also a little bit weird to me that they brought in 2 more cornerbacks, that Don Callis and LG Davis, just because I feel like that's another. Our secondary is just bursting at the seams trying to get all these guys contained. I love that we re-signed Peter Bowden. And then it was kind of interesting, too, that they let go of James Turner. James Turner had a really good year with us, off-season kicking. Actually, all 3 of the kickers between, obviously, Anders and then Greg Joseph. And then James Turner kicked I want to say he was 18 of 24 or 18 of 22 or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if between all those 3, I hope we keep Anders, and then I wouldn't be surprised if Greg Joseph gets signed somewhere, and if Turner gets a shot at least somewhere, because they did really, really well.
You might get a shot at the Lions, Jacob. Didn't you hear Lions kicker towards hamstring? That is brutal.
I think they'll be signing him back, to be honest with you. That's probably what will happen there, because he did. They sign the kicker from the UFL, XFL, XFL, right. UF, or whatever it's called now. I think they had signed the kicker that was just booming balls in that league, and then obviously they cut James Turner loose. So yeah, that makes sense that they might go after James Turner again. So, with that being said, someone in the chat here, let me hit it real quick. Blake B says Jaire says we're hoisting that trophy on his birthday, February 9th. Huh? So we actually have that soundbite. Let's go ahead and hit that real quick.
Took it down the sideline, turned over with my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
I was going to hit that one too, baby. Let's go ahead and see what Jaire had to say. It's just a quick little clip, but this is from the locker room earlier today.
I mean, it's hard to say right now, man, but, at the end of the day, I see us hoisting that trophy on my birthday, February 9th.
That's fitting, isn't it?
Oh, very fitting.
Hard to see, but.
Now, listen, this rubs people the wrong way sometimes, right? You either love Ja, you hate him, or you just roll your eyes when he says stuff, right? I will say this. He said something last year. He walked up behind Jordan Love, you guys remember, put his arm around him and said, "This is the best QB in the league right here." And we all rolled our eyes. It was like, Ja, let's let him play a little bit. Now we're looking up going, he's the highest paid quarterback in the league.
You hear what he said on that?
This is what he had to say right here.
What was your thoughts?
My thoughts? I mean, I said last year he was the best QB in the league. It wasn't a surprise, when he got his deal. I was actually super happy for him. I thought to myself I was playing the wrong position. Maybe I should have played quarterback. I don't know. But no, I was super happy for him. I think it's only going to be up from here for him.
How was your spiral? Would you have had a shot at quarterback?
I would have been like a wildcat type of guy, fake the handoff, throw it deep. That's me. Just here to tell you, Pack is back.
That was great. From a fan. It was just I should have been a quarterback, man, but wildcat.
I throw it up there. I fake that handoff and throw it up there. By the way, this background pic, Tim provided this. I'm telling you, man, he had a NASA camera or something. Jacob, he had one of those flat earther cameras. Look at this thing.
Look,
man, this is high quality here.
One of those slope roof cameras, right?
Look, Jacob didn't even crack a smile. Look at him. He's going. Oh.
Trying not to. No, I actually I watched that interview, and it was really I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't like Jaire totally broke the mold of what he used to be. It was like, it's still Jaire, he's still playing, but in a weird way, he was more mature and more like he'd have his Jaire moments, right? As you just saw there, he'd, make him laugh, but then he'd get into an answer and he'd be very much more chin up, looking him in the eye, speaking a little more articulately and not using as much, slang and stuff. And not that that's a problem, but you could tell that he would almost catch himself. And I feel like Xavier and other, I don't know if he's just getting older and he's realizing like, hey, this is now maybe how I handle interviews in a different way or carry myself in a different way. He went on to go on and talk about too. They said, who do you like going against in practice? Because apparently there was a sequence where Romeo Doubs beat him 3 times in a row, 3 routes in a row. I don't know if that was in one-on-ones or if it was on team, but they asked him like, what's the deal with that? And he kind of lit up. He took a minute to process the question, you could see, and then he lit up and he was like, yeah, Romeo Doubs has become like my second favorite, basically my favorite wide receiver to go against or to even watch in the league. And they're like, well, why is that? And they said his footwork, his professionalism, he's got great ball skills now. And he says, when he first got in the league, when he was a rookie, like I'd laugh at him when he tried to run routes on me and he'd maybe get like 1 out of 10. And he goes, now it's 50-50 depending on what's going on, and, they asked him like, well, okay, well, who's your number 1 receiver? And he goes, oh, still Devontae. But he smiled, but he really did. He says Romeo Doubs is number 2. Like he in the whole league as far as guys that he's impressed by. So I really do think that we don't understand and give Romeo Doubs enough credit. I've been slowly seeing it, especially when we rewatched the game film from this last year. But the guy is just a really, really aggressive, good receiver.
Yeah, we've actually got that clip here. Let's see exactly what Jaire said about Dobby.
Want another rep? Did he get better at you? How much do those both make you each better?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think Doubs is close second for my favorite, being one of my top receivers in the league. So I always want to go against Doubs. I mean, that dude's freaking really good. I mean, he come in his rookie year not catching a single pass on me, and now he's in contested. I mean, we going up for 50-50 balls now. I mean, the dude is really good.
What makes him so good? Just the route running?
I think his route running is very well. I mean, he's a pro. He goes about it the right way. He comes in. I mean, he catches 100 balls. I mean, he catches more after practice. You can see he's a real pro. You can see that his attention to detail is very on point.
So if he's number 2, who's number 1?
Oh, Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
All I want for Christmas is Devontae Adams jersey.
I love this dude.
How do you not love Jaire?
But that sentence he said before about like how Doubs is in there, 100 catches, all of that. He's a pro's pro. He approaches it right. All those are key words for re-sign. Extend, keep in the locker room sort of thing. If we're planning it out, Goody's already got to be thinking about that, right? So those are the little things that he sees daily in and out of practice that, he's going up against Ja, one of the best corners in the league, but he's also putting in work beyond practice being over just to get better at himself. And I think that's going to be key to look for moving forward.
And get ahead of it, man. Like we were talking about, if I think Doubs is more inclined, and we've talked about this over and over and over, more inclined to take a team-friendly deal than Christian Watson because his contract has been, for lack of a better word, cheeks, right? I mean, he's like, what is he, a 5th-round pick, I believe? Right. So, obviously get him some guaranteed money, sweeten the pot a bit, and you can get him on a cheap cap number for 3 to 4 years. And now you've kind of really solidified the basement of that wide receiver room, meaning like if Doubs is your number 1 receiver, you can win ball games. Mm-hmm. But if Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed really surpass him and you've got the highest paid receiver on your roster at somewhere between $8 to $11 million cap hit, that's such a bargain. And a locker room leader and everything. I'm all about some Romeo Doubs. He showed out today, too, at practice, man. Wes Hawkins tweeted out, Doubs is so nasty in the red zone. Stokes had great coverage, and Love puts it where only Doubs can bring it in, and 87 gets his feet down for the touchdown on 3rd and goal from the 4. Man, it's just amazing how, I shouldn't say this. I really like Wildy and Tausch. I like this. I listen to it every day. There's not a day that I miss it. And today he was out on the field and he's doing his live show and he said, there's a catch by Dobbs, but he didn't get his feet. There's no way he got his feet in there. And then you go over here to Twitter, and Wes Hodkowitz says, Doubs is so nasty in the red zone. Stokes had great coverage. Doubs can bring it in, gets his feet in for the touchdowns on 3rd and goal from the 4. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, why do we have to be so negative? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
So another one, too, Wes Hodkowitz tweeted out, Doubs is doing Romeo things. Gains a step on Valentine on deep crosser, and Love puts it on the money. So obviously Romeo Doubs had a good day today. And I love how each practice someone stands out. You guys notice that? It seems like every practice there's someone that's like, and it's hardly ever the same person. You know what I'm saying, Tim? It's like every day someone different kind of sticks out. Pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you go back to that Wes Hodkowitz tweet, it's such a good point because he says Stokes had great coverage. And we have seen that all camp long since we've started. Eric Stokes Jr. has come to camp ready to play football, guys, and it's so awesome to see it. I believe he had a pick on Jordan today during some of the team exercises, and you guys know if you're picking off Jay Money, man, you're earning it. And I didn't see too many bad balls from Jordan Love today, so anything like that was just really, really good defense by our secondary. So, yeah, whose turn is it now? We've seen Evan Williams step up. We've seen Kalen King step up. Like I said, Eric Stokes, and that's just the defensive side of the ball. I'll tell you, we got to see a little bit of Marshawn Lloyd today, just a little bit, and coming off the injury, he's looking pretty good. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So a lot of these draft picks and second and third year guys are really stepping up early in camp here as we kind of get near the middle point of training camp.
Definitely. M. Smitty says Doubs went in the 4th round, so it was pick 132. So just a little bit higher than what I was thinking. So appreciate that, Smitty. Thank you. Eric Sutherland says Doubs, a.k.a. the quiet assassin. I love the way he carries himself, man. He's just very straight to the point. Seems very, very humble. It sounded like, too, and I hope I don't have this wrong, it seemed like he grew up in a very, very rough part of L.A., I think. I want to say it's somewhere down around, like, you know, Long Beach or around Compton, somewhere around that area. And obviously used football to get himself out of a bad situation. And I just love his demeanor, man. He just seems so humble. That's a dude I want to see on the roster for a very, very long time for sure. Let's see what else we got here real quick. Coach Lynn says 3 safety sets in the red zone. Love that. Amen. You get a little combination of speed with better tackling than an extra corner if you want to go that route. And you put some thumpers in there like Evan Williams is another guy who's been flashing here lately. I didn't see him in the notes today, but obviously, 3 interceptions in camp already, just nasty.
Did
that was a nice shot. Tim, talk to us here.
Rewind it. I mean, Jacobs put Quay in the washing machine,
in the blender. But I will give Quay props because he doesn't quite get fully roasted here.
Yeah,
he stays with him with his feet, but we can't unmute it because of the music in the background. But I was screaming, "Get your head around, Quay! Get your head around!" I think if he turns his head on this, maybe he gets a PBU. I mean, this is about as good as a linebacker can do on a guy like Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs off the line. He's
fast. Trying to get it to loop off the line here because that's nasty, dude. Look at
that.
Woo!
But we want that work for Quay because if he's got to step out a nickel or something and we're asking him to play more man, he's got to be ready for this, right? So all that's good practice, definitely.
Yeah, that is that's pretty off.
I mean, he's in his hip pocket on a slant, but the problem was the sluggo.
Yep, the sluggo got him, and he came wide.
Right. Because he was in his hip pocket on the slant.
Yes, that is a tough route, or a tough route to cover, I should say.
The one before it was Eric Wilson actually got a pick, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was the previous one in his drill.
But also love to see that Josh Jacobs has moves.
Oh my gosh!
If you flex them.
Yep. Oh yeah, and they will too, man. They'll flex them out for sure. I mean, we've seen it all year. Last year, they came out in 11 personnel, and they would put Aaron Jones in the boundary. What would essentially be the boundary X, but instead it's the boundary T, right? This looks like me shaking Mandy trying to get out of taking that trash down on Monday night. Right there. I'm trying to get upstairs in the bed. You know what I'm saying?
I will say too, that's a pretty darn perfect ball from Pratt. It looks like.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was, sir. One more time, let's watch it. I mean, let's watch his throwing mechanics here. Hey, he's got a quick release too. Look at this, just wham.
I don't think that's Pratt. Pratt's 17. That's number 7.
That's Eason then.
Yeah, that's
Eason.
No wonder Matt LaFleur likes him.
And no doubt. He's a big boy too.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think he has a chance in hell in making the roster, but he is a big boy. It's worth mentioning.
Good camp arm.
All right, yeah, there you go. You're going to need those too.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Ron Sample asked, Kraft's injury was 2 weeks later than Tom's injury, correct? That is correct, Ron. That's what we were told when they first reported the injuries was Tom popped it bench pressing in the facility, and then right at 2 weeks later, Kraft popped it bench pressing in the facility. So, yeah, I and everybody heals different. I would imagine it would be a little easier for Kraft to come back from the pec injuries than Tom, because Tom is bench pressing people for a living, and I know Kraft has to do that too with run blocking, especially as the typical U tight end in this offense, sifting over things like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see if he's ready to go as
No
quick.
two bodies are the same, though, right? It depends
Absolutely.
on how he heals. Depends on all that. So
You don't believe me, man? Come down to one of these bars in Tennessee. There are no two bodies the same with these fellas down here, man. These guys are built different. You know what I'm saying? They are slightly obese down here in Tennessee. The old fella.
You call me anything you want, but don't call me that.
US Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why US Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from US Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
You don't believe me? You're talking to one. All right. Let's see here. M. Smitty says, question, do we keep 4 running backs with Dillon filling that fullback role and Emmanuel Wilson being the third running back? I think I'm the only Packer fan on the face of the earth, Smitty, that doesn't think that A.J. Dillon can play that H-back. Everyone else mentions it, and they love the idea of it. I just haven't seen anything from Dillon to suggest that he can, when they do a little pre-snap motion and they want him to slice, they want him to sift and run that split flow they like to run, especially weak. Dillon's just not that guy to run block personally. I haven't seen it. I could be wrong. Doesn't mean I'm right here. I know many people mention that same thing. Now, if you're saying line him up like Mike Allstott in the power eye and give him a fullback dive or two, hell yeah, do it all day. Let's roll, right? But I just don't think LaFleur uses the fullback in a sense that would kind of cater to A.J. Dillon's style of fullback if you were to play that, right? So
I think A.J. is going to get more carries than everyone's expecting too. Honestly, I think that he's actually going to use him as a running back. I think Lloyd's going to get some reps and stuff, but I don't think it's going to be as much. I mean, he even came back today, said he was real sore, with his hip and everything. So he's still young, but he's been studying. So I love to hear that. But I do think AJ is going to get a lot more reps than people are thinking.
Yeah, and on top of that, now listen, you got our boy Marshawn Lloyd here, who's back. He's going to be fighting to get as many reps as possible, but it's going to be hard. He's already kind of behind the 8 ball just a touch, obviously with the hip injury and all that. Let's see what Marshawn Lloyd had to say in the locker room earlier today.
Shoulder pad's a whole different story, but it's just super exciting to be out there. I think it's like you said, a kid and stuff.
So there's really nothing that can replicate it. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, nothing at all. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you work in the off season, no matter how much you run, football shape is totally different.
Can you remind us how the hip injury happened?
So it was right before we had like little workouts before everyone came back, and I just try to make a cut, and it was my hip flexor. Just try to make a cut, and I just strained my hip flexor a little bit, but it's all good.
So that was during when the rookies
came. Yeah, when rookies were
that week.
Yes.
All right, so there you go. You got it was a hip flexor. That's the first time I recall hearing that. I don't know if you guys have heard that before or not, but not a big deal at all. You strain a hip flexor. When you hear
that was what we knew about him when we drafted him, that he tweaked the hip at USC and got back. So maybe that was just like a re-aggravation of something that he may have had.
When I hear hip injuries, man, I get nervous because I think Bo Jackson, especially the running back position, because that was a dude that was just superhuman, right? And
before you even said that, Eric already had it typed out.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Right arm, Bo Jackson hip's perfect.
Man, Bo Jackson, dude. You ever get depressed? You're just like, man, it's a rough week. Just turn on the Bo Jackson highlights.
There's the guy.
You having marital problems? Turn on the Bo Jackson highlights. Anything. It doesn't matter.
Watch him running up the outfield wall, making a catch. Love it.
God, unbelievable. All right. Let's see. I want to hit on a couple other things here. Blake B said this. Read that for me, guys. I'm going to pull up the kicker battle.
Greg Joseph took the lead over Anders today in terms of makes versus misses. Okay.
All right. So Paul Brittle tweeted out, Anders Carlson and Greg Joseph both start today 3 for 3. And then he went on to say Carlson goes 2 for 3 the second time through, and Joseph 3 for 3. So Carlson now 21 of 24 in camp, and Joseph 22 of 24 in camp. So it is neck and neck, but Joseph has a slight edge. Not that even matters, right. But
that's not going to determine who gets the job.
It is worth. Now, if Joseph had a 6-kick lead or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, but it being that close, obviously Carlson's got a much stronger leg. But you never know, man. Again, I've mentioned before, it is an option to try to stash Carlson on the practice squad. You only lose 1 year of that contract. You'll get him for another 2 if he clears waivers. You could play Joseph this year if you feel like he's the better kicker, and let Rich Bisaccia continue to work with Carlson on the practice squad, and then get him ready next year. And then bang, you got 2 years active on the contract, and you're off and running. But I think Carlson, my money's on Carlson to win this battle. So
I agree. I actually talked to Greg Joseph after practice today, and
did he talk in third person?
No, he didn't. Not today. And I really wanted to not like him because he's a Viking guy, former Viking, and trying to take my boy Anders' job. And man, talk about the nicest dude you'll ever meet. I mean, Greg Joseph is a class act all the way, man. He was just a pleasure to be around, and you can tell he's a really good dude. So wish the best for him, but I hope he loses the job. I'll just put it that way.
He said, Greg, didn't you play for Minnesota? He said, yeah. Tim said,
how dare you?
Right off the bat. All right, here we go. Ron Sample said that pick today was on Watson as much as Jordan, even according to Watson's dad. So there you go. Watson's dad chiming in today. I know Boz mentioned it too. But Basarsky Production, awesome YouTube channel, one of my favorites. He had mentioned that Watson kind of pulled up on a shot play there, or on a throw, and obviously it got picked off. So
and Stokes was playing great D and was in a position to capitalize on that. That's really what it was. So it probably was just as much on J Love and Christian, but you got to also attribute pretty solid defense from Eric Stokes.
Yeah, and I'm definitely. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but we're hearing more positive about Stokes than negative, right? Yep. Will we all agree with that in this camp?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Matt was saying, we were talking about that. Matt was saying that he looks like the Stokes that we had before. He looks like he's back to his Stokes self, which is crazy after those 2 injuries. I mean, they were not pretty. So I'm really happy for Stokes.
All right, I'm going to go rapid fire here on the rest of the camp updates so we can get to that article that Jacob was talking about. All right, so here you said Wes Hockwitz says Love finds Reed for 16-yard touchdown in the red zone on 3rd and 6, but Gary probably would have had the sack, so obviously it counts as a tutty there in practice, but Gary getting pressure on Love. You love to hear that. No pun intended. All the pun intended, actually. Wes Hockwitz said he quote tweeted Andy Herman, who said, fantastic run by Emmanuel Wilson and a nice juke in the open field on AJJ. He's had the best runs of camp so far. Wes Hocklowitz quote tweeted that and said, good vision by Wilson, but O-line gave him a nice lane as well. Didn't catch who sealed it off. So Emmanuel Wilson, another name that keeps popping up. We were just talking about A.J. Dillon and obviously Marshawn Lloyd. He's a slam dunk to make the roster. Hopefully he's healthy and he's on the active roster. But Emmanuel Wilson might not be written off here, fellas.
He's going to make cut days really difficult on this coaching staff.
Jacob.
Yeah, definitely. What'd you say, Amelia?
I said Jacob's over here. Yeah, cut days, guys. You better wait for this article. Going to come dunk on you.
I got to go faster. Wes Hocklowitz said Clifford threads the needle to hit DuBose in the back of the end zone from the 9. And then he went on to say best red zone of camp for Clifford and the 2s. Nice out to Melton for a touchdown. And Julian Hicks makes a terrific catch near the sideline on 3rd and goal from 4. All right, so from the 4, I'm assuming. So there you go. Xavier McKinney showing up. Wes Hocklowitz said McKinney has been a menace in the red zone. He's been around nearly every ball. You love to see that. And then a little update here from Wes about LVN. It says nice inside move from LVN to blow up the play and would have sacked Eason on the next play. So LVN showing a little bit of a little inside move action there. That's nice to see. So he's obviously last year, you've seen the talent, you've seen the raw strength, the quickness, all that stuff. Got to work on those moves and those counter moves for sure. So basically to wrap up the day, Ryan Wood tweeted out desperation situation, 3rd and 10 from the 18, 11 seconds left, needing a touchdown to tie. Jordan Love targets Christian Watson at the goal line, but Watson wasn't looking for the football. Eric Stokes undercut it for the interception. Looked a lot like the end of the Steelers game last season for the offense. So what are you laughing about, Amelia? What's your problem?
I remember Tim's face after that game.
We were all he was like this.
Yeah, that was the he can block game. Yeah.
Somebody in the chat said he can't run routes. He can't catch the ball. He can't do this. What can he do? We all went quiet. Tim was like this. Amelia said he can block. We actually got it here. Let's relive it here. You ready? Where's it at here?
He can block. That's, I mean, you never hear him complaining about that.
Anyway, that Steelers game, man, it was a rough one. That's a rough pill to swallow there, but you just gotta get that. You know what I mean? Get it out of here. Never want to hear it again. Never want to relive that again. So, all right, Jacob, are you ready? Are you ready to finally hit this article you've been talking about, man?
Really fast. Did you hear what Matt or Josh said about X and McKinney? Just like how he was watching his tape and he's like, yo, I love your break on that. And then X was like, yeah, I did too, but I need to make the play. And Josh's like, yeah, you definitely do. But I like that they're still even pushing each other, because if there are two best and they're just complacent, that's a problem. So I do like that they're both kind of picking at each other's work.
Definitely.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, real quick. No, that's good. Did you guys know they were about the play they were talking about specifically in the red zone where they had 3 safeties in? Do you know who the 3 safeties were?
I don't
know. Who was it?
It was McKinney, it was Bullard, and it was Mr. Evan Williams. And apparently they had kind of like this weird I wish I could explain the situation better, but it sounded like they were cheating Williams as to be kind of this hybrid linebacker slash almost what we thought that star Tariq position Carpenter, or whatever. Yeah, Carpenter exactly. What Tariq Carpenter was supposedly coulda, woulda, shoulda been. But also the fact that with McKinney and Bullard in there, I mean, that to me, I talked about that and I thought it was a stupid question like 2 or 3 days ago. And I was like, what happens if we have so many safeties that are playing so well? Like, what would it take for us to get out of the McKinney contract, or what would it take for us to tweak our defense? And now I'm honestly, this is before all the Dappos even started to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about how Anthony Johnson Jr. cannot get cut because they said he'd go start somewhere on a different defense. So all of a sudden now we have 5 guys at that position where they're trying to get them quality snaps. How the heck do we do it? I mean, it's a great problem to have.
The goal, I think you just can't move a guy to corner, right?
What's that?
But you'll
turn
see
him
here
into a corner.
We'll see this as you say that, Tim. Get ready to look at this article. All we have to do is just compare. All we'll do is compare what the 50-man 3 was. I think Clayton should still have a screenshot of what the 53 that we started the season with the year before. And I'll tell you, dude, we're going to be sitting here being like, can we get away with 7 linemen, maybe? Like, it's going to get that crazy.
Absolutely. So here you go. If you're looking for a home in Tampa, Florida, check with our boy Keegan Siegfried. All right, we can get you hooked up there. Now here we go. Who wrote this? Justice Mosqueda, right? Wrote this article. This Packers 53-man roster projection. A prediction 1 week into camp. All right, so let's kind of roll through it here. Let me actually scroll that down just a touch. Here we go. All right, it says we're six practices into training camp. So let's overreact to some early padded practices. Why don't we? After following all the news and notes from camp over the last week, I'm going to take you through the status of the Green Bay Packers roster, including who I expect would make the 53-man roster if it were decided today, and which players are truly on the edge of the roster bubble. For the sake of the exercise, I'm going to assume that everyone is going to be healthy by the start of the regular season. Thank you for that. We need that. So far, the Packers have avoided a major injury since coming back from their summer break. Now, let's get into the position-by-position breakdowns. So here we go. It's going to be tough because there's videos embedded everywhere here, ain't there?
I'm sorry.
It's
we need a reader review.
Unbelievable. All right, so it says quarterback, Jordan Love, Michael Pratt. While Sean Clifford's still receiving most of the team's second-team snaps at quarterback, it's not been pretty. Head coach Matt LaFleur joked that Clifford broke a record by throwing 5 interceptions in a single practice last week. Why would you even mention that, Coach? And Clifford added 2 more, including one on the opening day of a 2-minute drill in the Packers, blah, 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 blah. So he's predicting Jordan Love, Michael Pratt. Is that right, Jacob? Is that what you're seeing there?
Yep.
Okay. Just weird to have people's random children on a video on the screen while we're trying to read. So, all right, anything you guys want to hit on as far as the quarterback position there? We all agree with that there? Or?
I think Pratt gets the edge for athletic ability, mobility. He pushes the pocket, breaks the pocket, extends the play really well with his feet. He's good at throwing on the run. That's not to take anything away from Sean Clifford, but I would agree with that prediction. I think that would make sense.
Got it. All right. And so right here, obviously the final 53 last year, we only carried 2. So there you go. He's got Michael Pratt over Sean Clifford. On the running back, oh, looky here, boys. Only 3. Josh Jacobs, A.J. Dillon, Marshawn Lloyd. All right, last year when we broke camp with only 3 running backs, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Emmanuel Wilson. So I'll tell you, man, that's they're saying Emmanuel Wilson will not make the roster essentially. See if it mentions him. Emmanuel Wilson, the 2023 preseason standout as an undrafted rookie, was able to earn a roster spot last season, but it will be tougher to make it through cuts now that the team added Lloyd and Jacobs while retaining A.J. Dillon, who appears to have reshaped his body. At this point, it's expected that Jacobs and Dillon are going to split carries in the committee, something LaFleur has said he favors over a bell cow approach. So comments here, Jacob. What do you think about that, man? Do you agree with it? You think they'll carry 4? How do you feel about that?
I don't know how that would carry 4. Once you see the rest of this article, you have to figure out where you can make some cuts. And right here, you'd have to be okay with Dillon, Jacobs, and Lloyd.
Got it.
You have to.
What if I know we don't want to, but what if Marshawn Lloyd just doesn't make the cut? You know what I mean? What if Wilson is showing up that much that he has to make the roster? We dropped Lou Nichols. I know he was a 7th rounder, but
Lloyd's Lloyd's not a UDFA. He's a draft.
I have to agree here, Emilio, with Jacob. Like I don't see any scenario where Marshawn Lloyd doesn't make the roster early. And here's the thing, and we don't want to mention this, but we're going to. Injuries happen, right? There's going to be some of these that the injuries, I'm telling you, every year I'm excited about this, that, and the other thing as far as camp battles, and an injury decides it for you. And it makes it easier for you when you're trying to project the right. Okay, well, that solves that, right? But, I'm not saying it's impossible, Emilio. I just think, man, it's highly, highly unlikely that Marshawn Lloyd wouldn't make the roster for sure. So, all right, on a receiver, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs, Bo Melton, and Malik Heath. So that's obviously they're carrying 6. Last year, we carried 6. This will be my pick for these 6 right here. Tim, what do you think about that? Everybody, y'all just toss it around here for a second. Does anybody disagree with that right there?
No, I don't. But I do think Malik Heath is making a strong case for himself at camp. I really do.
I like to hear that.
Him and Malik Heath are battling for that last roster spot for sure. Grant DuBose is not going to go down without a fight for this last roster spot. He was laying it all out there on the field. He had a really nice grab today. The ground kind of caused him to drop it. He laid out along the side, kind of slow getting up, but got back out there and was making plays. But I don't think there's a chance the Packers keep 7. So I would agree that if you're telling me there's 6, here we go. See here, Prince in the chat, DuBose over Heath. That is a possibility. I wouldn't say it's a probability, but I would definitely say it's a possibility. And you guys know how I feel about Malik Heath. He was one of my favorite receivers last season. I thought he really helped us out in the crunch in a lot of these games. And, when he was called upon, he answered the call for the most part last year. So, and we all know Malik Heath likes to get out there and block too. So
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Water cooler.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And so does Grant DuBose too. Grant DuBose is a guy. So, but hey, these are good problems to have. All this doggone talent in this locker room. Trying to get it down to 53 is going to be it's going to be tough.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, anybody disagree with that 6 right there? Those 6.
Negative.
Nope. All right. Tied in. Looky here. Carrying 4, Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, Tyler Davis, Ben Sims. This is exactly how I see it as well. If we go back to last year, where you at? Bang. Last year, we carried only 3 tight ends, so we're losing a roster spot here, Jacob. That's probably what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
You try to carry all 4 of those guys. And I know you're as big a Tyler Davis fan as there is, right?
Of course. Getting the jersey.
Hey, there you go. So carrying 4. Do you disagree with that, Jacob? Those 4 right there or no?
I don't. And as much as this, kind of a shtick now that, I don't like Tyler Davis, blah, blah, blah. I understand now, unfortunately, after listening to you guys and reading certain things and understanding what his role is on this team. Like Matt LaFleur absolutely loves the guy, and it's because he is really good at doing certain things that are kind of pivotal for Matt LaFleur to run his offense. And more now what we're seeing is Rich Bisaccia running that special teams. It was pretty clear that LaFleur loved Tyler Davis and his schemes for whatever reason. He did this or that well that he wanted him to do to make the rest of the play go smooth. But I didn't realize how important he was to the special teams, because Rich came out and said that, once this guy comes back, he's basically going to be our special teams captain. That's how he basically made it sound like.
Yeah,
that could
here we go.
TD could be your H-back too in a pinch.
Mm-hmm.
In this offense. And I think honestly that's the type of dirty work that they appreciate from him. Not just the special teams, but some of the other stuff he brings to the table as a tight end. I think when you look at this group, Musgrave and Kraft are going to be doing the pass catching. They're not going to be targeting Tyler Davis in the pass game very often. I think they'll be using him as a battering ram out there. But I like this group.
Yeah, 2-0 for this says Davis is too important for special teams, and Sims is like the big dog of this current roster. Quiet on offense, but comes through for you when needed. Mm-hmm. And again, 2 years ago before he got hurt, and we've joked about it a lot, but Tyler Davis on those slice plays, that sit block, he was arguably the best on the roster at doing it.
Yep.
Especially when they were using Mercedes Lewis as kind of that attached, that true Y attached to some of those real tight sets. So. Yeah, I think I agree with those 4 right there for sure. It's just, like I said, it's going to be hard because last year you only carried 3 tight ends and now you're carrying 4. You got to cut that roster down someplace else. So on the offensive line last year, we carried 11. It was Elton Jenkins, David Bakhtiari, Josh Myers, John Runyon, Yosh Nijman, Royce Newman, Sean Ryan, Zach Tom, Rasheed Walker, and Luke Tenuta is who we broke camp with, all 11 there. They're saying – in this article, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, only 10. So there you've got your roster spot back. Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Elton Jenkins at left guard and backup center, Josh Myers, your starting center, Jordan Morgan, right guard, Zach Tom, right tackle, Sean Ryan, right guard, left guard, Kadeem Telford, backup right tackle, Royce Newman, left guard, right guard, Andre Dillard, swing tackle, left tackle, right tackle. And then Jacob Monk. It sounds like Andre Dillard has taken Tyler Davis' spot on your guy that you love to hate on, Jacob. Is that true?
No. I don't.
No, come on. Myers and Newman are still on that list now.
I don't see Dillard making this squad. I barely see Newman making this squad. So this is where I have a big disagreement.
Jacob, he's taking Tyler Davis's place, right? Jacob was
True international average of pressure.
Oh my God! All right, Emilio, how you feel about this offensive line right here? These 10. I mean, it's hard to argue with that, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jacob though. I don't know about Dillard and Newman in there. So I where's my man Glover? Right, give my boy Glover out there. Yeah,
he sounded just like Jacob. I don't know about this.
Yeah, thank you.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Just gets it. Where's my man Glover? We're talking about keeping the draft picks. Let's go.
You love Glover, don't you, man?
Yeah. He's the sleeper that no one's talking about.
Jennings, too, is another one, like J. Cole saying here in the chat. Man, it's going to be tough. That Goody has done it again, boys. He's built one hell of a roster.
I'll say right now that even though you're like, oh, we gained a roster spot with only the 10, I think that's booty cheeks. I don't think Dillard's going to make this team, so I'd replace him right away with either Caleb Jones or Tenuta. I don't see Tenuta on here, which I know they love Tenuta. Yes. And also,
I need to say Glover.
I would take Jennings for sure on this team over Dillard. And I don't know about Royce as well. So there's a few people that I would totally swap out of here.
Do you guys think the versatility factor of some of these guys that we've got in here now in this O-line group is the reason why they're not going to keep 11 like they did last year?
I think it's a great point, Tim. Great
yes.
point.
You know, that frees up a roster spot in there. You see a lot of guys. You see Newman, you see Dillard, you see Sean Ryan, you see Big E with the slashes and their positions. And honestly, there's probably a few guys in here like Zach Tom. They got him listed strictly as a right tackle. We know Zach Tom can play anywhere on that line in a pinch. So I think the versatility is the reason why they're probably not hanging on to that extra lineman maybe this year.
Right. And we also don't have two starting left tackles, working it out throughout the season and trying to figure it out.
We do not have the Big Dave situation this year.
Well, Dave and Yash and Rashid. So, I mean, if we're not rotating a starter every time.
Yep.
Right. They're getting that work where they're truly going to play, right? And they're not wasting any time there. That's a good point. All right, let's move along here. Defensive end. All right, defensive end last year. Now, this would be your edge defensive battle, essentially. Last year, it would have been listed as outside linebacker. Now, keep in mind, we were in a 34 look last year as opposed to a 4-3. It shouldn't change much as far as how many edges they carried. We carried 6 outside linebackers last year, so essentially 6 edges last year. This year, on this projection, they're saying 5. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Lucas Van Ness, Kingsley Enagbare. And now I know why he wanted to see this article. Brenton Cox Jr. making the roster. I think Brenton Cox Jr. is going to make the roster again. I really believe that. Yeah. They protected the hell out of him last year. They were like, we don't even plan on playing him, but nobody else is getting their hands on this.
That guy looks like he put on another 10 pounds of muscle too. He is like an absolute freak of nature.
That's a human meat missile that I got my eyes on. I want to watch him. I want to watch him rise to the top. The cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Right. Really?
Rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
All right. So does anybody disagree with those 5 right there? Not carrying that 6th.
That's it.
I think it goes hand in hand with what we were saying last night, how these interior defensive linemen, maybe one of those could play defensive end in a pinch because they're not standing up on the outside now, right?
Like a guy like Carl Brooks, possibly.
Yes, and a guy like Devontae Wyatt, to be honest.
Yep, absolutely.
So Carl Brooks caused a stir today. I think they put him in with the 1s, and he gave Jordan Morgan fits today. So that's good to hear there. So defensive tackle, they say Kenny Clark, T.J. Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks, and Colby Wooden. If we go back to last year and just look at strictly the defensive linemen, we carried 6 last year. So they're only carrying 5 this year in the 4-3 look. So that makes sense why you would go from 6 to 5, seeing that last year you're playing at 34 jam out of base personnel. You would need that extra defensive lineman, essentially a backup at each of the 3 positions. Now you've only got 2 starting, with the defensive tackles in a normal 4-3, whether you're in an under, over, or an even look. So this makes sense why you would just carry 5 for sure.
Right.
So, I like it. Is there anybody you think got snubbed there as far as defensive tackle? I can't think of anyone that's not on this list to think, man, I really thought they would.
I know people maybe say Jonathan Ford, but I think that's one where you'd have to cut the loss right now for sure.
Or just put him back on the practice squad like they did last year, right? So
yeah,
there you go. Reset it to 2 years again as a future if you sign him on the futures in the offseason. All right, on to linebacker. I'm glad we did this, Jacob. This is a great idea, man. This is a really cool article. Just kind of seeing someone else's perspective. So linebacker, last year we carried how many inside linebackers? 5 inside linebackers. Devondre Campbell, Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, Eric Wilson, Tariq Carpenter. This year they're saying we're going to carry 5 the same. So it's going to be Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, Edgerrin Cooper, Eric Wilson, Tyron Hopper. Man, that's hard to argue with that. I think that's pretty spot on there too. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Definitely.
I
want to make sure we're not missing anybody here. Is there anyone we're missing here at the linebacker that we think, well, I don't know, man, maybe they could make it? That they pretty much nailed it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's just too much talent there, especially with Cooper and Hopper. Those guys are going to pop. It's just a matter of time.
And if you want to keep Christian Young, Christian Welch, Aaron Mosby, Keyshawn Banks, or Raylan Goforth, you can stash them on the practice squad, no problem, right? So that makes a lot of sense. Jacob, do you agree with those 5?
I do, and people honestly haven't been given. Tyron Hopper apparently has been flashing every day in the run defense specifically. They said that he's been really, really good in run defense. So that's another guy that we haven't talked about much. He got drafted, I'm sure, a lot earlier than most people thought, but I didn't like the pick, but now I'm starting to come around to understand why they did it. He's going to be a big special teams / run defender guy.
Love it.
And they took him kind of high too, didn't they? If I remember correctly. They took him way higher than I had him on my board. I know that. They took him, 3rd round pick 91. And on my board, he was really low. I mean, really low. So they seen something they loved in him. Dude, I had him like 252.8, I think was the grade. I don't have my draft board, my vertical board.
He was like 6th. He was like 6th from the bottom of the vertical.
Yeah, because when they took him, me and Amelia looked at each other like, what the hell? What? Who
he was purple though.
He was purple. You're right, and that
he
was big old target on him, right? So, what was the purple again, Amelia?
That was the
top 30 visit,
Senior Bowl, top 30, and I think
what was the other thing? There was something else too.
Yeah,
was it an RAS above 8 maybe or something?
I think so.
There was something.
He hit all 3, right? He hit all 3 requirements. We had him, Oladapo, picked up from those 2.
Matter of fact, on our big board. On the cheat sheet here, he was the only guy in purple on the bottom half of the board.
Yep.
So yeah, he kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. It's just obviously they went and took him as a top 100 pick, taking him at pick 91 because somebody else was on him. I guarantee you that. So, all right, good stuff, man. Cornerback. Ooh, this looks kind of thin here. Does it not, boys? Am I tripping here, Jacob? That looks.
No, just wait. Look at what we did last year.
How many did we carry last year? Let me try to find it here real quick. Where am I at? I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what to do with my hands. All right, cornerback. Yeah, so we only carried 4? All right, so we carried 4 last year. Jaire Alexander, Rasul Douglas, Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine. This projection, they're saying we're carrying 5. Jaire Alexander, Eric Stokes, Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, and Kalen King. Kalen King, they're showing slot there. I like it. So, hard to disagree with that, boys. So we're losing a roster spot there, right? Carrying that 5th, but we already picked it up in the offensive line room too, didn't we?
Yo, this is what I'm saying. This is what started getting me to be like, what are we doing?
Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize it. You're right.
We got no Valentine, dude. Oof.
BS. I'm protesting this, boys. I'm sorry.
I didn't see Valentine on last year's list. Can you go back to last year's?
I think he actually started on the practice squad. I believe.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I could be wrong. And maybe that's their
camp. This is how we did. I get it. Okay.
That might be their plan again, right? If he's I don't know all the practice squad rules because there's some that you can have like so many veterans on there too that they don't have that certain requirement. I'm telling you right now though, Corey Ballantyne, if he gets signed by somebody else, dude, I'm just going to tell you,
how about these hands?
I'm going to see Duty myself, man.
Ballantyne's pushing 30, so I don't know what the rules are about a guy like that.
Are you age shaming Jacob?
Yes. I love the older people. You know that, Clay.
You guys have no idea. how true that statement is, man.
65%.
65%. That's what we 65 and up. Jacob is a big fan. All right. Moving on to anybody got anything else to add to corner here? This show sucks. Just so
that was very definitive.
Yeah, it was.
This show sucks.
All right, let's go on to safety. We'll do it live. All right, so safety room last year. What did we carry? Safety, we carried 5. Darnell Savage, Rudy Ford, Jonathan Owens, Dallin Levitt, and Anthony Johnson Jr. So
we
this
had
year,
3 really last year.
we had 3 and 2 halves, right? So to make a 4th. So Xavier McKinney, Javon Bullard, who can also play in the slot. I love that they're mentioning that. Evan Williams, Anthony Johnson Jr., and Katan Oladapo. Hard to argue with that. Is there a safety we feel like is getting snubbed here? I'm trying to think. If we look at the safety room, Javon Bullard, Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, Anthony Johnson Jr., Katan Oladapo, just Zane Anderson and Tyler Coyle. So, yeah, I don't think I like this, man. I think this is spot on. What do you boys think?
I think so. I think Zane Anderson is, a special teamer at best, probably. I don't think we're going to look at him to play any meaningful defensive football for us, I guess. I do like Anthony Johnson Jr. on this list because, like we talked about at the top here, that he's making it really tough to cut him. He's having himself a camp, and maybe Ant Johnson is one of those guys that if he's going to be more towards the bottom of the depth chart as far as the safety position goes, maybe he slides into some cornerback play in a pinch, depending on how the season goes. But I like this list. This is pretty much what it's probably going to be, right, guys? I mean, you can almost take this one to the bank right now.
I agree. Jacob, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, this is where I start to wonder if there's guys up there. I mean, right away, the only one I could see up there, like, is it possible trade bait scenario be AJJ? And that's just because of the fact that the safety room is absolutely, like Coach is saying, that's set. There's a few a few positions where that's set. I think the D end is set. Safety set, somewhere in the cornerback room is set, tight end room set, but I don't know, dude. I feel like we have too much talent at the safety position. I think we haven't even seen what Katana Oladapo can do. If he comes out and even looks decent, we have 5 guys that can play 2, maybe 3 positions. I mean, I know injuries happen, but I don't know. I'd start shopping around and see if I could get like a 5th or 6th round pick for Ant. I would.
Oh, Tim, right now.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Tim, you have the floor, sir.
You watch your damn mouth there, Jay. No, but I get it. I mean, having a ton of talent it's a good problem to have, man. It really is. I just, I look at Ant Johnson and I look at guys like Evan Williams and even, Oladapo, man. Like, let's see how these guys look in special teams too. You know what I mean? Yeah, so if we're going to cut some of the fat, and maybe Zane Anderson doesn't make this team, it's because we don't need a special team guy taking up a roster spot, because Evan Williams can get it done and Ant Johnson can get it done, and so can
dude. I think we're forgetting Oladapo's like what 6'2", like 210 or something. He's a unit.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm gonna look up his height and weight. You guys keep talking for just a second.
Oh, I thought you were about to drop the thick drop.
All right,
honestly.
Man, what a missed opportunity, dude.
The biggest point of
this receiving is tough.
Trying my best over here.
The biggest point of this was to see who's not going to make the team. Can you scroll down when you get a second, Clayton, on this article? I believe it says honorable mentions or something like that. Notable, whatever.
Katana Oladapo coming out of college was 6'2", 216.
Thick.
Thank you, Half. Appreciate that. If you guys would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Help boost the old algae here and help other Packer fans find this channel and find this content. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us on this glorious Tuesday evening here. So special teams, Anders Carlson, your kicker, Daniel Whelan, your punter, long snapper, Matt Orzik. Honorable mentions. So here we go. Jacob, you have the floor, sir. Talk to me here on these honorable mentions.
Okay, and just real quick, if we don't need to scroll up, but if you looked up there, we have 3 positions set for the special teams. I'm sorry, but you can't tell me there isn't a punter that also can't kick a field goal. You can't tell me that there's not one of 10 or 11 offensive linemen that can't also
get him, Jacob.
Hold on.
Get him, Jacob.
They call them specialists for a reason. Just because you can punt,
I'm
does
telling you
not
right
mean
now,
that you can kick a field goal.
I just want a natty with Notre Dame, and my punter can kick field goals. I'm just.
I was gonna say, dude, if
you found the one.
I found the one.
I'm just saying. To me, if I was a quarterback or if I was a GM, I'd be looking for that tiny little, that tiny little. That's a big deal that can give you a big leg up over a lot of different teams. Anyways, honorable mentions / guys that should have made the cut that don't make the cut. I don't agree with a lot of these, and I would have moved different pieces around. But look at this here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would argue there's probably 10 to 12 guys that would be on the roster bubble here. Number one, the biggest one I'm argued probably would be Sean Clifford, second-year guy. We spent a draft pick on him. Wasn't he a 5th or a 6th-round draft pick? Emmanuel Wilson, UDFA. He's just a UDFA, but he's also been probably one of the most explosive running backs that we have on our roster since the time being he's been here. Caleb Jones, offensive tackle, absolute freak of nature. Glover, a guy that I thought would have made the team no problem. Another offensive lineman, Luke Tenuta, who I thought would make the team. Both of those guys, honestly, all three of these I would take over Dillard. So we'll see how that works. Christian Welch at linebacker. Ballantyne, I think, is a massive one here at cornerback. Safety, Zane Anderson. Tim talked about how he's more of a special teams guy. And then Greg Joseph, who's had 22 out of 24 kicks made this offseason. So what do you guys think about that list? Is there anybody else that you would?
Well, two things. What if it looked like we broke last year without our long snapper? So take Orzic away. Pick one dude on this list that you're putting on the roster in his spot.
One?
You have to. We got rid of Orzic. We'll sign him later. We'll figure it out.
Who would
either
it got to be Ballantyne or Glover, right?
I was going to say either Tenuta or Ballantyne.
Okay.
Clayton?
You really asked me this. Ballantyne. Let's go. Give me Ballantyne.
Give it.
Let him play Wildcat alongside of Jaire Alexander.
I love Glover too, but we might be able to stash him. I think we got to bring either Sean Clifford or Emmanuel back. I think we got to right hand man.
I could see that.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see 3 quarterbacks. You guys want to carry 3 quarterbacks?
Tim, are you hating? Are you body shaming quarterbacks?
Tim,
I really have faith in Jordan Love, and I really do like Michael Pratt.
All we're doing with 3 quarterbacks, Tim, is we're walking out back. We're putting a couple seeds in the ground, putting some water on it, and then hopefully by the end of the year we can go ahead and sell one of those tomatoes that grew.
You can say that. We're not allowed to say that. You can say the word tomato on this show.
What do you think about this take here? Prince says that Samori Toure not even getting a mention. Which NFC North team will he pop on?
I'm going to guess he was wearing sweatpants. I don't know.
I'm going to guess the
practice.
Can't make the club in the tub. Just saying.
You think the Lions? I think he's going to the Bears.
Bears are stacked.
What do you mean? We all know he's going to end up a Raider.
That's true.
Thank you for the extra sound effects.
Even the chat split though. Look at that. We got Ballantyne. We got Eric Wilson or Glover or Jennings. Coach can't even decide. I hear you, Coach. That's the problem. I said 1 and I still picked 2.
Yeah, it's wild. Hey, Jacob, hell of an idea, man. That was a lot of fun, dude. That was a blast. And here, what I think we should do, and people are either going to love or they're going to hate this idea. I think that maybe every week leading up through camp, like right now it's the 30th, right? Like say somewhere around the 6th or whatever, let's go look at the 53 again and kind of go, okay, how's everybody doing in camp, and just kind of reevaluate. I think that'd be a cool way to keep our finger on the pulse for sure. So, yeah. A good way for you guys and gals to keep your finger on the pulse, you see what I did there, is hop over and join our Patreon group. You can scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you directly to our Patreon group, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. Go to Patreon and search Packer Fan Total Access. Got an awesome community building in there. We also do a lot of giveaways out of that group. If you're one of the 3 tiers, a member of one of the 3 tiers in there, you guys are out of control. And then we put everybody's name on a wheel. The Larry McCarron Pinky wheel. We spin that thing and give away free prizes. I know Chewy just won a really cool frame photo of 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. We've given away autographed jerseys. We're going to be giving away copies of Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0 that was donated by one of our awesome listeners, United Bates. So, again, just scan that QR code and follow the instructions. You can join the Patreon group. As M. Smitty always points out, it is rigged. 2-0 for this says it's rigged. And Eric Sutherland, of course, says rigged. He's the father of saying it's rigged. And, but still worth it, he says. It's rigged. Listen, it's rigged, but it's still worth it. So, anything else, fellas? Anything at all?
Nothing.
Yeah, I agree. The show sucked.
Yeah. We got a game Thursday.
We do have a game Thursday. You're right. It's Chicago, right? And they've already announced that Caleb Williams is not playing. They seen that pick. They
did?
Yeah, I think they said today. Is that what you heard, Jacob? Is that right? Let me go fact check.
I didn't hear that, but I heard. Yeah, I mean, why? Honestly, why would they? There's no win-win for them. It's lose-lose. Which should
you don't think that he should get a couple reps in live game situation?
I don't know. Maybe that could help.
Maybe a little timing or like the speed, the size of the play. Nothing.
I mean, I'm more excited for family night. Is anybody going to family night? Anybody here or in the chat going to the family night? Saturday night, right?
They were talking. Who was it? They're talking Marshawn Lloyd about that. About how they said the stadium's probably going to be just full.
Oh yeah, it usually sells out.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, yeah, there's all kinds of people talking about it. Caleb Williams and the starters not playing in the Hall of Fame game. In other words, water is wet. This one says, Eberflus said the communication with Caleb Williams about not playing Thursday was simple. Quote, you're not playing. So, there you go. So, Caleb Williams is not playing Thursday. I wouldn't put him out there either, man. I mean, if he goes out there and he's absolute cheeks, you know what I'm saying?
So they're just going to delay that problem a month? They're just going to wait a month until they figure out.
The Chicago Bears, of course they are.
Guys, we all know he's only here until they draft another quarterback in 3 years. So
it's true.
Yeah. Hey, it sounds like Ron's going to be at family night. So if anybody else from the Packer Nation, the PTA posse is going to be there, let us know. There's in the chat. There'll be a few of those still now. Oh,
if the schedule will permit, then what I'm going to do for family night, again, that is next Saturday. What is wrong with you, Emilio? What is your problem? Be professional.
Eric is my problem, man.
He's everybody's problem. Oh, let me pull this up real quick.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, don't.
Oh. Thought everybody got so nervous. Calm down. All right. That is usually when I screw up and put Eric Sutherland's comments on the screen. So let's see. It's going to be 7:30 Central, so that'd be 6:30 my time on Saturday the 3rd. What if we did a live show during family night and tried to give updates like we did the other day, Jacob? What do you think?
Fun. Yeah, it'd be great because I know I won't be able to freaking watch it because I'm over here with the Minnesota Vikings paying taxes for Minnesota public television coverage, apparently. Anyways.
Unbelievable.
Boo.
How far do you have to drive to get Packers coverage, Jacob?
Probably an hour.
Oh.
Jacob won't call his cable company.
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable. Yeah, so why don't we try to plan on doing that? If my schedule will work out, that'd be fun. We'll just go live during family night and give you guys updates like we did for camp practice the other day. Obviously, we can't show the game on the channel. That's illegal, but we can at least hang out in here and talk about what's going on. So Emilio won't be in here because it's date night. He date mocks it up on the weekends. That's what it is. He's in high demand. What can I say?
I make time when it's game days. Mm-hmm. It's just I like you said, I gotta start stowing points away.
You got
this is coming up fast.
Got to build that credit, man. Like Jacob, man, he's packing around those AARP cards. You know what I'm saying? He got those squared away, good to go. Ain't that right, Jacob?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
There you go. You guys and gals would hit that like button for us on your way out. We really appreciate it. I don't know why you're here, but we do appreciate it.
You know what the trick is?
What is the trick?
You got to crumple up calcium tablets into their food so their bones stay strong. Otherwise, you know.
Oh,
God. What?
Sometimes I think, what did I do to deserve this?
For those of you listening on the pod.
Thank you for making us listen on the pod. Hey, as always.
Possum in a dumpster.
As always, we are as happy as a possum in a dumpster. Hey, go out and be the change you want to see in the world, okay? Quit complaining about it, quit bitching, and just go be the change. All right, let's try that for once, please, everyone. Everybody have a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow.